Hi everyone, my name is Marissa and this is my channel, The Budgeting Wife, where we talk about how to make smart financial decisions. And in today's video, I'm sharing a story time with you because I love watching other YouTube storytime videos. I don't know if any of you guys do as well, but I love watching storytime videos. So I thought that it'd be fun to just sit down and while you guys are, getting ready for work in the morning, you can just play this along and listen to my story time of the craziest thing that we did to pay off debt. So I'll start this story back, just kind of explaining a little bit of our debt-free story. But if you want a more detailed version of that, I'll go ahead and leave a link up above. But basically, my husband Jacob and I graduated college, and we got married right out of college. And with that, we had $80,000 in student loan debt because we attended a private university. It was a lot. But we got married and lived in our first apartment, and it was a tiny 1-bedroom, 700 square foot apartment outside of Portland, Oregon. Nothing to write home about, nothing very fancy, but our rent was $1,100 a month, and we were working on paying off our debt as soon as possible. We both had entry-level jobs, so nothing that was making a ton of money, but we just made a lot of sacrifices in our budget by, not eating out, not going on vacations, and just really sticking to our budget to work on paying off that debt and put every extra dime we could to our student loans. And with that, we were paying off our debt for a year when our lease came up on our apartment the next July. And we were told that our rent was going up $200 a month. So we were going to be paying $1,300 a month for a small 1-bedroom apartment. Again, nothing fancy. It actually had severe mold issues, so it wasn't a good situation anyway. But we were told it was going to be $1,300 a month, and so we had a month to decide if we wanted to stay or leave. And so we were looking at other places in the area, and just everything was all that expensive. And this is where the story gets a little crazy, is because my parents then offered and said, hey, why don't you come live with us for a little bit while you pay off your student debt. At that point, I think we had about $50,000 left on our student loans, so we had a good chunk paid off, but we still had a while to go. And we knew that with the extra rent increase, that would be $200 less a month that we'd be able to put to our loans. And so we ended up taking my parents up on their offer. And so we moved in with them. We moved about 30 minutes away from where we were already living. And we just moved into a spare room that they had. I have a younger sister, but she was off at college. So it ended up just being the four of us, of my parents, and then Jacob and I. And so we lived with my parents from August of 2016 until November of 2017. So for a little over a year, we were there, and we just paid off our debt as quickly as possible. And while we were living there, we actually did pay rent still. We paid them like $200 a month in rent. So it's definitely not much, but it was something that we were contributing towards. And we also still bought all of our groceries while we were living with my parents, but I will say that was an amazing way that we were able to cut costs and just pay off our debt as soon as possible. So in October of 2017, we ended up becoming debt-free, and we paid off our final total of debt, which was $87,000. And we really couldn't have done it that quick if we had not been able to move in with my parents. And I will say that was the sacrifice for my parents to have us move back in, but it was so kind of them. And it was also a sacrifice of Jacob and I being newlyweds for married for 1 year and then moving in with my parents. That was a little different, but it was so good and so worth it. So that is the craziest thing that we did to get out of debt, but I am so thankful that we did. Being debt-free is amazing, and as soon as we finished paying off all of our debt, we started looking for an apartment, which is where we are now, and we absolutely love it, and we are still friends with my parents at the end of it. We didn't drive each other too crazy. And I feel like so many millennials now are moving back home to be with their parents for a season to pay off their student debt. And I would definitely suggest doing so if both parties are fine with it. It was an amazing thing that we were able to do. I definitely think you need to go in there with some rules and expectations so that those sorts of things are established and everyone's aware of what is going on. But if you are able to make a plan and have a timeline for that, I think that would be a great option if you are wanting to pay off your debt as soon as possible. And be sure to thank your parents for letting you stay with them. We definitely have been thanking our parents. It's been a huge blessing to be able to be debt-free, thanks to them letting us stay with them for a little bit. So that is my story time. Thank you for sticking around. If you are interested in more story time videos, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and maybe I'll do another one of some other life story that I just want to sit down and share with you guys. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also leave me a comment down below and let me know what is the craziest thing you did to pay off debt. I know that there's so many like out of this world things that people did, of like huge sacrifices that people made to pay off debt. So I love hearing stories like that. So go ahead and leave me a note below, and also subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any more personal finance videos. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.